Is the sheep preaching hate when it says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones that were knocking him over the head were afraid of the fact that he might swing back. So they said, no, he's teaching hate. He's violent.
Absolutely. Now, I have a certain clip here that I want you to check out. And I'm going to play this clip, and I really want you to give your thoughts on this day, what took place, and what your opinion is as to what he had to say, what Dowell had to say in regards to this clip, okay?
Okay.
I'm really interested in that. Let's go
Okay.
ahead and play it. Ties right into what we're talking about now.
Nadia, come here. Which one of y'all brothers 40 years old? Well, I guess I'll do. I'm 49. Ain't I still 49? All right, good. Now, what does this look like in today's world? As long as they are able to flower, they ready. Now, at this age, this young bearing age right here, how many children they probably going to end up having before they hit 20? You think they're going to be worried about burning? They're going to be busy. And of course, the first thing they do is they say that Muhammad was a pervert. That's what they say. And you need to be careful about some of the judgments that you make, because they talk about him marrying young maidens, young girls, or something like that. Hey, you people forgot that when Joseph married Mary, that she was an adolescent, she was 12, 13 years old. And then the first thing y'all want to do is attack Muhammad. You people are some of the greatest hypocrites that there has ever been on the face of the planet. Or the problem is you go about establishing your own righteousness. When a woman has reached puberty, there is no sin, whether you like it or not. There is no sin. There may be laws on the land. Even here in the United States of America, there are states where United States of America, Greco-Roman, American, British Empire, America. There are states in this country where you can marry girls at 14, 15, 16, 17. You people, you know, y'all, of course, I know what the problem is. The problem is that everybody has a mouth and it moves. And is it true? Tell us, Ringo, we want to know, is it all true? Or did you say that? Or did you say that? Nadia, come here. Which one of y'all brothers 40 years old? Well, I guess I'll do. I'm 49. Ain't I still 49? All right, good. Now, what does this look like in today's world? As long as they are able to flower, they ready.
All right. So I'm gonna stop it there.
Okay.
What do you now this is definitely, listen, what is your thoughts on this speech coming from a so-called pastor?
Yes. So I would definitely first of all say, again, a mind of a woman in the ministry, specifically a single mother. I'm gonna say in this instance, that's what I'm gonna speak from the perspective of first. Everything that he's saying is true. So even if I don't agree with it, I'm thinking that that's something wrong in me that I now need to dig deep and pray and fast and meditate on and get casted out, because that's evil. what he's saying is right. So that's what I need to believe. And that's how I need to now teach my daughter to think. And so
Mm.
that's how I would have, that's how that would have set with me in that ministry. It would have that, no question about it. Okay, yes, sir, and then you go and do. But I don't necessarily need to give a personal opinion. I think it's more effective to go deeper and mention like the moment that we start to associate a child's biological development with her readiness for marriage or sex or whatever you want to call it, then we're crossing a dangerous line. Just if you tap into your natural maternal parental instinct in you, removing what religion says, removing what a man is preaching, removing something else that's on the outside coming in, already on the inside, that should cross a line to you, and so emotional development and autonomy, consent, safety, all these things are ignored instantly when there's so much spiritualizing of reality, and you justify harm, you justify teaching these things which is harmful to your children when they age. So we have to be honest about just what that mindset leads to. I don't really want to debate it, but if it when it comes to protecting children, like that's a no-brainer. When your mind is healthy and you're not fatigued and overworked and just bombarded with everything else, when it's just you, a red flag goes off that's strange, that's not right. So nothing else really matters at that point. That's my opinion right now. Concerning that being said, I don't. Yeah,
Right.
that's how I
And
answer
I
that.
gotta agree. Everything you hit on some really key points with this, and like the development of the child, her mindset, and how she's viewing herself, right? And when you're
Mm-hmm.
bringing her to that level, and the way that she should be thinking, right, is that if some man who is in his upper 40s or older or whatever it may be, right, is making sexual advances towards her, that she should be numb to the facts of it, right? Because she's old enough to flower, so she should be able to receive those advances. You open it up to the idea and possibilities of being not only abused, right, which that happens all too often to our young ladies, right, especially in the community. But not to be abused, but also for her to have a mind washing of being receptive to this abuse, right? Not understanding and knowing that this could be wrong, right? Because the man that they call a man of Yah, the one who they all trust, is saying there's nothing wrong with it. And so that's one of the things that for sure, when we're talking about the ladies and the women in the ministry, and on the heels of what you just got done breaking down, right? When it comes to the way that they treat each other, on top of that, the way that the leadership treats the young women and the women in general, this is not going to be a very good thing. It's not a very good recipe, right, for success. Now, I want you to
I
touch a little bit on this. All right, go ahead. You
really,
got something to add to it?
yes,
Go right
I
ahead.
want to say, because so like when we say words like abuse and neglect, and it's so easy to again not pick up on it, because the abuse is not just physical. There's mental abuse, there's mental neglect, there's spiritual abuse, there's spiritual neglect, there's emotional. It's not just physical, getting punched or hit or starved or whatever. It's what's going on the inside that is neglected and abused, and that's what you're told is not important and it doesn't matter. But just one more thing on that video or that clip, because
Mm-hmm.
we talk about the child and the influence that is bringing onto her, but the only way to even fix that or prevent it is to, I'm now looking at the mom like, okay, where is the parents for her to be one that's comfortable to be called up? What's going on in that home? Because a mother's mind is her child's home. And what I mean by that is like a mom's mental and emotional state becomes the atmosphere that the child develops in. So again, for a single mom, like
Right.
your obedience is your safety. As long as you obey, whatever you need, essentially you have, but with that kind of agreement, you're always going to make compromising decisions. And there's such an unseen pressure that you put on yourself for your children to not be the thing that causes this safety that you think you have to be gone. Meaning if we have any problems, who's gonna want to take us in? If you come off as disobedient or unruly, or if I show any ounce of rebellion, my safety is in threat. Who's gonna want to cover us? Who's gonna want to bring us in? Because you already know that you're a burden. No matter how many times people say you're not, like you are. You get gaslit into thinking that everything is okay and what you're feeling is not true, but in reality you see something and you feel something completely different. And so it's the mom. Her mind has to really, your mental health is compromised. Your mental health is compromised. That compromises your intuition. And it's
Mm.
just so important for us to have a good relationship with our brain. And again, just that place doesn't encourage that. Clips like that show the impact that goes generational.
Right.